Welcome to another episode of the APL Spotlight series. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights. They've usually traveled or journeyed well in their lives, and they're often giving service to others. This is an offshoot of the APL show that stands for Angels, Positivity, and Love. So we only have the most fun guests back on this series, although every guest is fun on the main show. Speaking of the main show, Brit Elders is joining us today from Arizona. She's been on the main show. She'll be back on the main show in the future, but we had to have her come in. It's January of 2025. So much is going on in mankind. So much is going on with her. She's a filmmaker, investigative reporter, author. She's traveled the world, covered many topics, including UFOs, especially Switzerland, Billy Meyers, the case back in the 1960s that you could almost argue conclusively proved we're not alone in the world. She's also just fabulously well named, her last name, Elders. She's very wise, and she's here to share with us all. I love interacting with her. She's one of my favorite people on earth. So, Britt, welcome back to the show. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Where would you like to start? There's certainly a lot happening, I would argue, for all of us and then for mankind. How do we take a bite out of this apple?
I think the first thing that we have to do, it's imperative that we do it, is we stop looking at the whole apple and we go to the core, which is ourselves. And when you start really working on that connection with self and that connection heart to spirit and get out of your own way, which we've all been guilty of. I'm guilty of it all the time. I think we start moving forward in a way that's more connective, more creative, and gets so much more accomplished. And that's what I'm really working towards this year is that heart spirit connection to all it is, to the divine, and getting out of my brain. Um, I've always had a saying that don't think with your head, think with your heart, and then you never go wrong. But when you live in this world, you have a tendency to think with your head an awful lot and you lose that connection to heart. And the heart is the most important thing. It's understanding self, and it's in turn, because of that self-understanding, understanding everything around you, including the world. So I'm trying not to look at the whole apple, the outside of the apple, but the inside, the core, and find out what that's all about, and then express it with each other and learn from each other and grow from each other. I think that's where we really begin to move forward. And we're getting there. We're getting there, but it takes a constant reminder in self to work from that position.
You've been on some of our Mind, Body, Spirit panels, and you've shared some incredible details, including when you were a child, your mom and dad, your dad was I'm going to call it an engineer scientist type,
Right.
seeing a UFO. So people should check out that Mind, Body, Spirit panel. To putting out 3 books last year, you put out many books, to many other experiences. You're well known, you're CEO of ShirleyMacLaine.com, which is Shirley MacLaine, the actress from the 60s, 70s to now, still acting today.
Yeah.
So you're very accomplished, very well known, traveled the world and so on. But again, this is about the heart, the core. What's happening for mankind? How is this an opportunity for further growth and expansion?
Well, I think every time something shocks us, and that seems to be happening a lot these days, um, we have an ability to either absorb that shock or to try to understand it. Our initial response seems to be to rebel against it, to get angry, to fight against it. But if you take it inside, try to understand what it's teaching you, because there is no perfection, not right here, not right in this space at this moment. There is perfection in the universe, but it's not now and it's not here. So if you just try to understand it a little bit more, you open yourself up to so much more awareness of everything around you and awareness of self. Um, I think this year is going to be full of, oh, what do I do with this kind of attitudes? I think we have to stop the reactive aspect and go to the inner perspective, the introspection and innerspection of self to understand why we are being bombarded with all of these different things. And it makes a big, big difference if you can start looking at it from your perspective and with the desire to understand someone else's perspective. You can learn a lot about yourself that way.
Okay, so grow your awareness, not your thinking.
Yeah,
Just slow your roll a little bit for 2025. I'm going to put up an angel named Joy. If we can get a little reminder from her and then have you take it from there on a great segue from here. And just say, got it, and I'll pull this down.
I got it. That's one of the things, the name is perfect. Um, because one of the things we haven't been doing is living and existing in joy, in any sense of joy. We've been living and existing in fear. It doesn't matter if it's elections, if it's the drones flying over New Jersey, if it's bombings or attempted bombings, if it's wars, we have been just steeped in fear. It's time to crawl out of that teacup and find the joy. Use that beautiful, beautiful pink energy, that communicative energy,
Hmm.
and open things up and find joy in life again. Earlier, we were just talking, and I said, go hug a tree. I mean it. I mean, when we get finished, I need to go be around trees. I need nature. I need that connection. We all need that connection. We shouldn't be in a position where we are walled in 24 hours a day, which most of us are. We need to be connected to nature because nature is part of the divine. It's part of us. And we're all interrelated. So in that movement, you find joy. It's a type of joy you can't really describe. You can't wrap a word around it. It's a feeling, it's a sensation. And it's something that can send chills up and down your spine. It can open your heart even more. And it can make you realize how fortunate we all are to be here right now. And I think we need a perspective shift. We need to get out of the fear and into the joy.
Okay, so if I had to guess on something, I think your expertise for helping others is really helping people shift out of societal thinking to appreciate what they've already got within. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose. You've already got it. But you don't have to have people focus on the outside, like the externals, what's going on. But can we focus on that for just a split second? Um, do angels exist?
Do they exist? Absolutely.
Okay. Are,
Absolutely. I've got to tell you a little story. I have a friend in Japan, Michi, and her husband passed. He was a recognized wrestler. My husband passed a few months later. And so we always referred, and our parents had passed right along the same times too. We always referred to these as our angels. They're always there. And it was so interesting because, from a Japanese perspective, for her to understand angelic energy was just so, it was wonderful to me. I thought it was great. But I feel like there are angels absolutely in all forms. I think they show up when you need them. They're always there, but we have to learn to ask them to be there more for us.
hmm, beautiful. Off-world beings, corporeal, non-corporeal beings of loving light, do they exist?
Yes, without a question.
And
That's my left brain kicking in there. Yeah. The right brain says absolutely. The left brain says we have more than enough documentation that it's there. So we just have to get to a point where we can accept that all these things exist. We have a seen reality and an unseen reality. And that's, in fact, that's a title of a project I'm working on right now. And it's so important to recognize that unseen world that exists around us all the time.
if we stick strictly to the positive, then love is the intersectionality of all, is it not?
Absolutely. It is, but we've got to learn to define love because we've attributed it to everything and anything. You love a coffee, you love a walk on the beach, you love someone else. Love is so much grander than that because it's the existence of all that is. But we've got to get through fear. We've got to get to appreciation, and then we've got to get to love.
Angels in the past have used expressions or words like the following: compassion for all is life.
Yeah.
And also, compassion is like having the awareness of a newborn baby. I think there are trillions of definitions of compassion, but can you kind
Beautiful.
of cover that for us? How is it more awareness is on the horizon for mankind, more consciousness, more just allowing with a capital A?
I think allowing with a capital A is a big deal because we have to allow with discernment. We can't just be allowing of everything, or we won't have any form of structure in society. But we have to have the discernment. We know what's right and wrong. We don't need to play in that arena of this is right or that is right. No, know what's good for you. If what's good for you works and is positive, and you are working on that inner source of self, you share that. It automatically starts snowballing with other people. So it's a great thing of knowing yourself. We're back to that again. And that allowing that knowledge of right and wrong, the knowledge of there is a purpose for everything. May not know what it is at the moment, but it's there. Getting out of your own way, letting it unfold, it makes things so much easier. But I think we have to hit a point too where we have, and this is, you can get into a really heavy duty discussion here, discernment and judgment. Two different things. Discernment is the knowledge within. Judgment is the left brain or right brain saying this is good and that's bad. We need to get out of that mode. We need to get into the discerning mode.
There is no right or wrong. But there's proper understanding. Angel said that once, and then I remember from
Right.
Apocalypse Now, it's judgment that defeats us. I
That's
never
right.
thought I'd do an Apocalypse Now quote. I'm going to spin the twister wheel. I'm going to put up Charlotte, another angel who's pretty savvy. Have her just randomly kick out a topic that's not so random. Say, got it. I'll pull it down.
Hmm.
What'd you get?
Past lives.
Ooh.
So it's not so random. Hmm. Past lives. Yeah. I think we can learn so much from them because we're not talking about just past lives on this beautiful planet we exist on. We're talking about past lives throughout the universe. And then you can get into time. And does time coexist? Is it all simultaneously happening? Or is it something that because of our linear mind, we decided it goes point A, B, C, D, E? Maybe it's really all happening right now. And the life and the discussion I am having with you right now, I'm doing something else someplace else too, because spirit is only using this as a vessel, this body as a vessel, but it exists everywhere. It's part of divine creation. And so maybe time does coexist throughout the universe in multiple, multiple levels.
Let's ask two experts on this. We'll do Einstein and Carl Jung to go a little
Hmm.
structured and formal. Let's see what they say. So I'm pulling up Einstein. Here he is. And what does he have to add to the dialogue with some humor?
The universe doesn't exist and into it continues and continues. Yeah.
And Carl Jung, who also is very sparkly. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting guy.
what'd you get?
Um, Energy, just from both of them, really, energy is what's important. Energy of time, energy of self, energy of each other. It's a frequency thing.
I've learned 3 or 4 things in 13 years, and I'd be lucky to remember two, but here are two. How you spend your energy is how you spend it. And then where you put your focus is where you put your focus. It's like surfing. Where you turn your body is where you go on the board.
Mm.
And then angels exist. Just trust that it's so. There's nothing to do. You do have to get out of here to here and just
Yeah.
be in your heart. It knows what to do. So speaking of which, I'm going to blow sage, kind of a staple on this show. You can catch it through 2 screens. There's not as much time and space as you think. Think of a class. The worst professor in the world, and the class felt like 2 hours. It was only an hour. But the best class in the world, the professor that you hung on every word, that once every 10 years, you find a professor like that. It went by in 15 minutes. You're like, why can't it be a longer class? So you know something's up. A vacation. It was a week that felt like a month, but you go back the next year and the week felt like 2 days. You're already getting back on the plane. So here's sage. Allow for sage. Britt, are you already getting it in Arizona from
I
Texas?
am.
Okay. Catch sage, but now ask for flowers. What flowers are you getting? Let angels and off-world and your relatives and your ancestors and Einstein bring you.
Jasmine.
Yay. And
Mm.
if you want to catch a little Hawaii, my microphone's up top today. I'll blow Hawaii. Catch a little sea spritz on the nose. Catch
Yeah.
hibiscus in the air. What'd you get?
I got the smell of the ocean.
I didn't do it. Blame angels. Don't blame Canada. And with that, why don't you? We're going to just spin the wheel, but no attempt, no effort. You've got a blank slate going on, whether it's a Pleiadian, Arcturian, Archangel Michael, Gandhi, someone stepping in. Who is saying, pick me? And what are they sharing for you to share your wisdom with us all?
Mm. Andromeda.
Yay.
And to put the barriers down. They just, that's short, sweet, and simple. Take the barriers down. So, does that mean that we all have barriers? That we're blocking ourselves from not only knowing each other, but also ourselves? Um, does that go back to judgment? That the judgment we place on others, we're actually placing on self? There's so much there, but it's let those barriers down.
Hmm. And we'll let those barriers down. I'm going to do one more quick interactive. I'll show my energy. You don't have to show yours. It'll be like out of the movie Celestine Prophecy. You can see flowing light between my fingers. But as
Mhm.
one guest who was around in the 70s said, hey, we were doing this like this before the movie was made. And in India, they do it this way. More importantly, everyone gets a dad joke out of it. So if you're laughing, you're in your heart. Your heart does the Zen thing, seeing without seeing, because you're already feeling
It
it.
knows.
Yeah, everywhere. So when you see light, we have a new thing in 2024, second half, and now. Once you see it, say the colors, but then you'll ask the universe, your whole crew stepping in to do extra for you. People have gotten phoenixes, a running buffalo, flowers, geometric shapes, vortexes, sparks. It could be anything. A lot. But first, let's just do the basics. Dad joke for everybody. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where in a hospital? In the
Oh,
ICU?
oh goodness.
And just see a little bit of light. What are you seeing between my fingers?
Arcing pink light.
Ooh. And now I'll go bigger and ask the universe, joy, angels, and Arcturian to step in, catch something really fun.
And green spirals.
I didn't do it. We're blaming Canada on this one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Wow. Now I've
let
seen the sparks between fingers before, but I've not seen the spirals of energy. That's interesting.
and we can do it a different way. Just say any whoop, I gotta light it. Say any color you see in a normal Bic lighter. Is it yellow, orange, gold, white, anything? Just
Right.
perfect. But now on my finger is going to be the energy, and we'll let a Mac come in. She's green light. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's everything plants, animals, nature. Wonderful angel. People, you don't need a photo. Just tell angels, hey, make it nice. I don't know about any of this stuff, but I know I got a big heart. And even if I don't know I have a big heart, I'm going to trust more. Just ask angels to find a way in dream time, or when you go for a walk, you see extra birds. You feel the breeze in your hair. It doesn't matter. There's letting go, and then there's being uptight. Okay, Mac is going to help you see extra on my fingertip. I'm going to go back to my bodyboarding days, so I'm in the water. Hold on. See a little extra light here. And what do you see? Oh, my finger got hot. What do you see off the tip of my finger?
Sparks.
Okay, but do you mind explaining that for people who didn't quite hear it?
Think of a sparkler that you see at 4th of July. That's what I saw coming out of your finger.
Brilliant. Okay, now if you had a chance to reinvent everything and start teaching in a new direction, a clean slate, do you have an inkling yet which way you would go for folks? Is it how to keep it simple and how to connect to your heart more daily? What's your bailiwick, your shtick, do you think, down the road?
My shtick really is, and I'm constantly learning it. Definitely connecting more to the heart, getting out of the way of the head, because the head has the tendency. It's a wonderful gift. It creates all these great things around us, but when we're in it too much, it rules our lives. We lose the connection to creation. We lose the connection to ourselves. We got to maintain that connection. So it's learning how to, and I love doing this with kids, learning how to be reliant on maybe what we've come to term intuition, things like that. It's that inner knowing. It comes from the heart. It's spiritual. It is the divine. Rely on that. Find your peace in that. And then you just naturally sort of blossom and get out there for everybody to experience the same thing you are, because you're sharing. Every time you share something, it just progresses forward. It's like this beautiful chain reaction.
Okay, you're about to get a quote. 18 pages of quotes. I'm going to pick three. It could be Wayne Dyer. It could be Pema Chodron, if I said her name correctly, Gary Zukav, Eckhart Tolle, Einstein, somebody. Randomly done here, sort of. Okay. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. All inner resistance is experienced as negativity in one form or another. All negativity is resistance. Someone once said, what you know equals your limits. And I'll do a final one. In the sky, Buddha. In the sky, no distinction. There's no distinction between East and West. Man makes distinction out of mind and then believes it to be true. Somehow those are all connected. You're the one who's already got it. What do you get?
I think the Buddha quote is the most beautiful, because the only distinction between us is this physical form we're in. Everything else is so pure, so true, and it's all there. I mean, it's just a wonderful connection with not just humans, but animals and nature, the universe. It's reliant on that. There is nothing you can put judgment on, because here we're all the same. And when I talk here, I'm not talking about the physical pounding, beating heart. I'm talking about your spiritual heart.
Beautiful. We're wrapping up shortly. I'm going to put up 6 angels for you to privately get the lowdown on something. And then you'll simply get like a public relations affairs officer will step in and you'll get what you want to share, what's publicly consumable. For like the New Jersey drones, but they've technically been going on for a decade plus or much longer, interact and seeing lights, but there's all different backgrounds. There's all different parts of this, 40 different theories. Can you hear what you need to hear about this from Amin, the orange silhouette of an angel, Charlotte, 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel? Hear something privately. I think you already know the lay of the land. You've been covering UFOs forever. But hear New Jersey specifically, what you can say about it. And then, is it different than what people will see more of in 2025? Or is no, that's it? You're getting it now and you might see it more in the future. What version of all this are you hearing?
There'll be more in the future, I think, most definitely. But what I'm getting that's really strong is you've got to, and it's kind of a weird contradiction to some of the things I just said, you've got to open your head so that you can be receptive to the unseen world, which is beginning to form in front of us now. That veil is getting very thin. And then get into the inside world, the important world. But you got to open your head. because you cannot have the judgment and parameters of fear that will stop you from saying, wow, what if? And if you take the time to say, what if, and back into yourself, everything's open for you. There's nothing you can't do, nothing you can't accomplish. Everything is just as it needs to be. It's there for you to learn. So take that opportunity.
Well, thinking certainly won't get you through a Jenga game, and thinking about hugging a dog, thinking about hugging the dog is not the same as hugging the dog. So right,
Absolutely.
thinking's very limited. Last little bit before you professionally close this out, because again, you've had to give, you've done a gajillion speaking engagements. You've traveled the world. You've got so many books out, 3 in 1 year last year. Wow.
Yeah.
So here's Joy, and I'm going to put a cherry in the sundae. Just here, yes or no, do I have permission to do one kind of wild thing? And just here, is it a yes? Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so for us to be chilly, relaxed about this, if you've
Mhm.
got an outdoor area you can look, do you mind turning and just allowing a few ships and lights to show up and get a positive message from the whole universe to remind us it's not about the physical or the external or even seeing ships. It's about being in the heart. I'll do Piglet and Winnie the Pooh to close me out here. Piglet asks Winnie the Pooh, how do you spell love? And Winnie the Pooh says, you don't spell it, you feel it. And that's my closing out. But did you get to see something? Can you acknowledge it? And then can you get a message from everyone? We don't have to go classic angel route, but you can. Brit Elders.
Everything, everything in the universe is all connected to love, all connected to heart. Those are the two things you do not want any barriers around because you want to be able to experience them in your fullest. So just take a deep breath, and every time you breathe in, know you're breathing in that interconnected to everything in the universe and the love that exists within all.
Two final questions. Did you get a little bit of action out there? Did you get to see?
Got lights.
I didn't do it. We are blaming Canada and
It
Angel.
is Canada again. Okay.
Yeah, you're probably looking north. So, but last question. So, for the UAP UFO podcast host who's been at it for 40 years or super serious, they're in their trench, they're doing a great job, good ratings, big subscriber list. They're in the press, even getting quoted, or a scientist at Los Alamos, or somebody who's, though, rigid up here. What's your advice for them on how this isn't linear? Can you help them out?
Oh boy, this nonlinear thing is so important because it's not. You just have to get out of your own way a little bit and soften up. Listen to others. Listen, 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 and hear what they have to say. Don't just hear it here, hear it here. The value of that makes everything so much more real. And the understanding then grows from that. But you got to start listening here and take the time. It doesn't take that long. Just take the time. Feel the energy you get from others that tell their stories.
And you put the tail on the donkey because there is a final little act and then we do sign off. Ask Charlotte if you've got this. I'm going to whoosh you 2 or 3 times from Texas to Arizona. Just here, you've got this. We're going to blame angels for sure on this one. I'll put my hand up. If you'll put your hand up and let me know what vibe you feel. It's all love and above, none of my bill paying or I got to go for a run later. I'm stressing about it. What are you feeling on your hand?
Oh, I feel like you're going to be fine running.
And here comes the whoosh.
Warm, incredible warmth.
Yep, and those guys are going to do the light. So consider it rainbow light, consciousness, love, letting go. If anybody at home wants to do this, feel what you can feel. Don't judge.
No,
But
just let it be.
yeah, allow for a portion of your life. You're like, oh, at work I haven't been too happy lately. Let this light go to that wherever you'll allow for some more wiggle room. So here it comes. My microphone's up top. I'm going to blow Hawaii to Brit Elders. Everyone needs Hawaii. Here it goes.
Nice.
Feel it on your person. And Brit, what did you get for us?
Smelling the ocean again. That beautiful, clean, fresh, salty smell.
And you can drop your hand. I'll drop my hand. I'm going to do a final whoosh. I'll use both hands. I'm going to look like a goose. I'm going to blow more Hawaii, but you're going to get more rainbow light. If you'll allow it to go up your back, up your front, and let angels do their thing, universal loving beings. Here it goes.
Nice.
What'd you get on that
Straight
one?
up the spine. Good energy.
Yay. Brit
Good
Elders, you're
energy.
amazing. A documentary filmmaker, author, and just extraordinary in how much attention and care you give to mankind. And for all of us on our unique life paths, I think in a sense we're all walking the same path. And it's the openness and opening openness you talked about that's available to all of us in each moment. So you're so beautiful in how you handle this with such grace and ease that I think you're a huge inspiration to us. And I think you're going to be even a bigger inspiration 2025 and beyond. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Michael. You are a joy to work with. So open and receptive. Teach me so much.
Oh, thank you, Britt.